Now at 4:30 on WKYT this morning, a new law is set to be signed today in Lexington. It will change the requirements for booster seats. We'll have the details for you coming right up.
Lexington police are investigating the robbery of a pizza delivery driver overnight.
And another name is getting thrown into the 2016 presidential ring today. That story and more coming up on WKYT this morning.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning. Here we are in the middle of June 15th, and we welcome you to WKYT This Morning. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Rebecca Smith. Seems like this month has gone by pretty fast, and we've been enjoying some really nice temperatures, a little on the warm side, but pretty tolerable.
Say that again. Right. And so let's check in with meteorologist Micah Harris in our First Alert Weather Center. Does the heat hang on this week?
It does. We're going to be in the upper 80s, lower 90s again this week, but you know what? We'll even throw in a few showers and thunderstorms. Even though, yeah, you really don't want those around your house, that will cool you off. That's the only way that's going to happen. Well, I guess unless you hop in the pool, and then you're good to go. 73 degrees there in Lexington. That goes for Danville, sitting in Richmond, going to Frankfort, Mount Sterling. It is 77 degrees right now over in Moorhead. Now, that just shows you what kind of moisture is around, what kind of warm air is around. 90 degrees this afternoon, pretty steamy day, and also a slight chance of rain today, but it does pick up in the upcoming days, and I'll show you which day has the best chance of rain in just a few minutes.
All right, Micah, thank you. Let's get to the news. 2 people are recovering this morning after a bad crash in Lexington that happened last night.
That wreck happened around 7:30 on Military Pike in James Lane. Police shut down a portion of the road while reconstruction crews tried to figure out exactly how this crash happened. Jordan Valines has the story.
Lexington police tell us it was around 7:30 Sunday evening when they were called out here to this narrow stretch of road on James Lane close to Military Pike. That's where they say that a man was seriously injured when the car that he was driving was T-boned by another. The crash reconstruction unit remained on the scene for several hours, trying to put the pieces together to determine what led up to the collision involving one passenger car and an SUV. Police tell us that both vehicles were heavily damaged in the wreck, and we've learned that one man had to be immediately transported from the scene to UK hospital with serious injuries. The other driver was taken to a local hospital, but he is not believed to have been seriously injured. There were not any passengers in either car at the time. Crash reconstruction crews are still trying to figure out what caused the crash. They say one of the things they're looking into is how much of a role the sun may have played in regards to whether or not it reduced the visibility for one or for both of the drivers. Police are also investigating if the windy roadways contributed to the crash.
Once again, the collision reconstruction will be out here. With any country road, you always have to be careful just because of the narrow lanes, curviness of the road anyway.
At this time, police have not released the name of the other person involved in this wreck. In Fayette County, Jordan Valines, WKYT.
Well, Military Pike was closed at that intersection for hours. This morning, authorities out in McCreary County are continuing to look for a woman who went missing at the Cumberland Falls State Park. Search and rescue crews say they got conflicting stories about how and when this woman went missing by the folks with her at the time, but they do say it's a, quote, water incident. Officials have been on scene out looking for her since as early as 1 o'clock yesterday morning.
Most of the first responders that's done the searches, they know how it would feel if it was their family. So they tried to address this as if it was their family.
Crews are not releasing the name of the missing woman or the names of the people who were with her. They suspended the search last night at 8. They will pick things back up, they say, at 7 this morning.
The time is 4:34 on WKYT, and new this morning, Lexington police are investigating a pizza delivery robbery that happened overnight. Officers were called to an apartment complex on McCullough Drive that's in the Winburn area around 11:45 last night. Police say the driver showed up to an empty apartment. That's when he says 3 men came up behind him, knocked him down, and stole money and the pizza. Investigators believe the driver was set up. Authorities gave a limited description of those suspects, and no arrests have been made.
A Lexington man is facing charges this morning after officers say he knocked himself out trying to escape. 30-year-old Jonathan Shackelford is charged with escaping police custody, fleeing and evading, and criminal mischief. Lexington police say he was at UK hospital in custody when he tried to get away. Officers said they chased Shackelford down the halls, yelling for him to stop, but they say he kept on running, and he eventually crashed into an automatic door so hard it knocked him out. Hospital staff told police the door has to be replaced.
A couple of families had to find somewhere else to stay last night after a fire damaged their homes in Lexington. Firefighters say a man was grilling at the Cedarwood Apartments on Codell Drive. The man thought he had put the fire out, but crews say it reignited and spread quickly to the fourplex. Firefighters say they knocked the fire out quickly. They're warning folks to be extra careful, especially at this time of year.
You know, it's the summertime. We always try to remind folks to be responsible, you know, with whatever it is, whether it's discarded smoking materials, you know, ashes left over after cooking out, or, you know, whatever, and just to be more responsible, make sure it's out.
Two families were not allowed to stay in their homes overnight. Lexington fire investigators say they have made an arrest in an arson case. Firefighters arrested Denitra Ross Saturday night, and she is charged with 5 separate counts of arson. According to court documents, Ross was arrested at her home at an apartment on Alumni Drive last week. A fire broke out at that apartment complex. Investigators say she set fire to a pair of shutters outside the building that day. She is also charged with arson on 4 other occasions, and she's set to be arraigned today.
We're learning more this morning about a deadly officer-involved shooting that's caused some controversy in Louisville. Metro Police there released some surveillance video of the shooting. Officers say Nathan Blanford, a 10-year veteran on the force, shot and killed 35-year-old Dang Menyun after he allegedly swung at Blanford with a flagpole. Officers say Menyun matched the description of an assault suspect. Activists in the city say they don't think lethal force was necessary. Louisville Police Chief Steve Conrad disagrees.
I believe, looking at the video, he did not have the opportunity to transition to another option. I think he felt, and I can't talk about what he felt, but it would appear to me, based on my view of the video, that he felt threatened, that his life was in danger. There's a man swinging a 7 or 8 foot metal pole at him.
Several people who saw the shooting say Menyun never swung the flagpole. Metro Police say Blanford is on administrative leave. The case is being reviewed by the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office. A boy in Shelbyville who survived a brain tumor is facing another tough battle. His family is losing their home. 2 years ago, emergency crews rushed Anthony Bretnacker to the hospital to have a baseball-sized tumor removed. The procedure left him blind, and he then suffered a stroke and spent months undergoing chemotherapy. Anthony is now home relearning the skills he lost, but he may not be home much longer.
We have not been able to pay our mortgage for over a year. This is the last house he ever saw. So that's kind of a sentimental thing for me.
Well, strangers are now helping the family out in their time of need. Those include Ken Fort, a Florida man dedicating his 3,000-mile motorcycle ride from Florida to Kentucky to Anthony.
In some Kentucky political news, Governor Steve Beshear is expected to ceremonially sign a bill today that would improve booster seat protection. That bill raises the height requirement for booster seats up to 57 inches. The state legislature passed the bill this last legislative session. 31 other states have adopted the law, and industry experts say the change is safer. The governor will sign the bill at Kentucky Children's Hospital at a ceremony slated for later this morning. Well, we can add one more name to the already crowded list of Republican presidential candidates today. Former Florida Governor Jeb Bush is set to officially launch his 2016 presidential run today. Bush will kick off his campaign with a rally in Miami. Sunday, Bush released a 3-minute video featuring a diverse slate of Floridians highlighting his impact as governor. In that video, Bush also reveals new campaign logos, including one that says Jeb 2016. Bush is the 11th person to formally declare his candidacy for the Republican presidential nomination.
A Whitley County man cited for animal cruelty set to be arraigned today. Deputies say they found starving and dead dogs at his home last week. The sheriff says animal rights groups saw what was going on social media, and they posted pictures there. Police say Wilson was cited rather than outright arrested because he is dealing with other issues. A Montgomery County teenager charged with solicitation of murder and robbery is set to be back in court today. 18-year-old Austin Russell is accused of sending text messages saying he was going to rob a bank and kill someone. We're told those messages had specific times listed for those threats. Deputies arrested him last month in Franklin County. He pleaded not guilty during his arraignment last week. He's set to have his preliminary hearing later today.
The time is 4:40 on WKYT this morning, and we're just getting started on your Monday. We're glad you're along with us.
The summer slide isn't just a ride in the park. Moms Every Day explains how to prevent brain drain when we return.
Next couple of days, all about the temperatures, but then we hit midweek and off into late week. Get this tropical air mass in here, which means one thing, here comes some thunderstorms. And I'll show you all that in your forecast coming up.